Thank you for staying tuned. It is still the conversation here on Lagos Television. And on this side, we'll be discussing Lagos 24-hour economy in discourse. Interesting topic. What does a functional 24-hour economy mean for the average Lagosian? Now, as Lagos, a true megacity, continues to evolve, our conversation today centers on unlocking its full economic potential, even beyond the conventional working hours. What are the opportunities, the challenges, and innovations driving the Lagos economy towards round-the-clock productivity? Well, I'm not the one that will be giving answers to these questions. Joining us on the conversation is Leke Ogundimu. He is a business development strategist. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning. It's my pleasure being on the show again.
Yeah, glad to have you here. All right, since we're talking about Lagos 24-hour economy in discourse, let's begin by understanding what defines a 24-hour economy and why is it so critical for a city like Lagos?
And of course, let me add some, beyond keeping shops open late at night from dawn to dusk.
Yeah.
All right. Having a flourishing and functional economy that runs all through the night, 24 hours, is something that has been in Lagos since the 70s. I'm talking about the first tax 79 and all that. Lagos is fully enriched in nightlife, and with that nightlife back then, it has brought about possibilities for people to have economical value, to being a partaker of what we used to call proper nightlife in the days. Festac, Ebute Metta, Allen Avenue, Adeni Jones. There are certain part of Lagos where you could enrich yourself at night and, derive full potential economic value, right, if you tap into what it was. But until recent time, when we started experiencing security challenges, and then it nosedived from what it used to be to about 70% decrease. It experienced 70% decrease, and right about now, we still can boast, especially in Lagos, compared to other parts of Nigeria, we can boast of about 30-35% nightlife, and that is still adding value to the economy of the states.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you mentioned in the 70s and we used to have a vibrant nightlife here in Lagos. But these days, we don't have...
break now.
Oh, we need to go for a break?
Yes. We'll go on a short break now, and when we return, the conversation continues.
What happened?
The deputy governor, the past ones, can I remember? I can't now. Okay, deputy. Bakale. Miss Bakare. Hey, God.
it's still the conversation on the side. Sorry for that short break in transmission. Just before we went on that break, where I was asking him that, look, though he mentioned that, you know, Lagos has always had, you know, a vibrant nightlife, especially in the 70s. So I want to find out, has it stopped now? Even though he said there is a decline, and I do not, you know, particularly agree with that, because when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to night clubbing in particular, I think it has been on the increase. Would you say that? Well, what would you say about that?
Well, okay, so we are discussing economical value,
But you don't,
and it's not.
night clubbing doesn't add. Doesn't it add to economic value?
It does.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, there used to be diverse other ways.
Okay.
You know that people could contribute to nightlife economy and growth. You know, in Lagos back in the days, you had night markets, very functional night markets. I can remember back in the days, Surulere, we moved from Surulere to Mushin quickly to get one or two things around 10, 11, and the market life is still very active, you know. Unlike these days, nobody has that confidence, you know, to be out there just naturally like it used to be. You know, there are people who are inclined to daring, right? They dare things, they don't mind what the consequences would be. But there are also people who have a background of listening to their family. Even as a man, your wife is telling you, you're leaving the house at 12 a.m. Do you know what is waiting for you out there? Do you know what so-so person died 2 days ago? So-so thing happened. Somebody was kidnapped, even at about 7 p.m. And you know, so these words are enough to restrict you from acting the way you naturally desire to act. You know, from being where you naturally desire to be, especially when it comes to night life. Right. So basically, there are a lot of restrictions. There are a lot of self-control that has, you know, become the order of the day for everyone who wishes naturally to have spent their money or to be out there at night. So I'm not saying the life is entirely crippled. And when I say, well, we have just about 35 or 40% left, it is still arrogated about let's say about 20-25% to the nightlife, which is nightclubs, you know, so they take the chunk, you know, of what is happening at night. So if you take, for instance, I was somewhere, a friend of mine came in from the UK, and it was quite a delayed flight. So they got in at about 12:31, and we had to pick her up from the airport. The wife, the husband has consistently told me, I want amala or gari, and there is a suya at Allen Roundabout, you know. The guy was particular about it. University of Suya, I want to eat suya and gari, suya. And I said, okay, anytime, there is no time you get to University of Suya that you won't find suya. We went there that night, we got suya. We were about looking for gari. We saw somebody selling gari very close to University of Suya. At the same time, we saw people who had launched out on what I'll call kunu, zobo, and they joined, you know, so it was more like, we call that co-selling in marketing. Right? Yeah, so it is different things that works for each other, that are interwoven, that has correlation. You are taking suya, you can have, you know, your yogurt with it. You are taking suya, you can have your kunu with it. You are taking suya, you can have all sorts of things. So people who have business around that suya are now surrounding him, and that's creating another economical value for them at that level. So when I saw that, I was impressed. The man who said he wanted to take gari initially, by the time he saw, what was the name of that thing they put together? You know, he decided not to go for gari, so he did suya and one other thing. So, I mean, these are still part of the things that are still in existence. And it was 1:35 or thereabouts when we got there, a.m. A.m., yeah. So we moved a bit, and then we saw some policemen, men of the RRS. They were on search. You know, he said, no, something is happening here in Nigeria. I said, of course. It's not as bad as they painted it to you guys over there. You know, so the nightlife is still there, and Lagos is fortunate to be, I will tell you that Lagos is at the forefront today. If you want to grade economic value at night, right, or having a round-the-clock economy, you know, that is flourishing up until date, you have Lagos at the forefront.
That will lead me to my next question, because I was looking at the current, when you look at the current infrastructure in the state, how crucial is it in supporting the 24-hour economy in Lagos?
Yeah, we are doing well in Lagos. Lagos has always been the pace setter, all right? Even though we are known as the center of excellence. We are also the pace setter. Permit me to use that because the people of Oyo has actually, taken that to themselves. But we set the pace, sincerely speaking. No, how do I mean? You have the ICM, Ikeja City Mall, where you have a whole lot of nightlife today. Not because there's anything special. ShopRite and the other occupants of that mall probably would close latest at 10 p.m., right? But the nightlife continues up until, say, 2:33 at midnight, right? I made a research into this. I was to train a particular organization by Tom Flims, and then I realized that there is a need to delve into what is happening in Lagos at night. And then I came out with my security men, and I discovered that there is life in Lagos. Within, I don't know the name of that road. There's a road before ShopRite, there's another one. The one before ShopRite is very close to the Alausa Secretariat. The one after ShopRite, I don't know the name. On that road alone, the kind of nightlife I encountered there, got me a bit encouraged again, being a Lagosian. Right. Basically, because I realized that there is so much that we do not know about in Lagos. There is so much going on, especially at night, that we've not realized. There's so much that we've not tapped into in terms of economic value. And we need to look into it. Okay. The only thing we need that could buttress that or that could back it up or make it more functional is security. Okay. If security is in place, a whole lot of people are willing.
I was going to say, so aside security, what are the other risk factors you think business owners have cited that would, not make them keep their offices or keep their shops open, aside security?
So aside from security, maybe trying to align with international best practices for those who are into administrative businesses, strictly. For persons who are selling, who have supermarkets, I still know of about 3-4 supermarkets on the island, specifically on Victoria Island and Ikoyi, that would open up until daybreak. They run 24 hours.
I know one too.
Of course, one is on Adeola Odeku, about 2 on Adeola Odeku. There is one also on, I don't know the name of the street, maybe I just say Adeogun or something. Okay. And I know quite a number of them. And then I also know one in Ikoyi that does not close at all. I don't know what their security backup is like. I don't know what they are doing differently from other people. But I feel to those who are doing official things, fully corporate organizations, they just want to align with global best practices to ensure that you do 9 to 5.
Okay. Let's also look at the role of fintechs and mobile payment platforms and how it also enables the 24-hour economy.
Yeah, that plays a major role. Talking about fintech and, cashless policies is one of the things that could boost, the 24-hour economy, because basically you won't have to go into a shop, to shop for anything with cash on you. And if anybody has that same mindset, even the person that aims to come rob you would know that you are not going to carry cash, right? So definitely you are cashless. So that would reduce the possibility of being robbed or being harmed at midnight. So it's a lot, it has so much value to add. But that's if only those things are also working at the right time. Because several times you would insert your card and you're unable to get payments. Several times it declines. Several times you're deducted or you're debited and you don't get value. So, there are still a few glitches there and there that must be looked into. But if that works and is stable, right, we can get something good out of it.
I'd like you to also talk about the power sector, and the role it plays in.
Okay, so I am not mentioning the power sector anymore because I'm getting tired of speaking about power today and tomorrow. So basically, the Lagos State government has done well ensuring lights, in major places, even though it's on the decline today. I'm sorry to say that, but it is the truth, right? Back in some governments, we used to have everywhere properly illuminated. Right, but at this time, some places are still illuminated, but most places are not illuminated as it used to be. Right, saying it just the way it is. All right, and I could mention this, I could mention areas, I could mention places that used to be illuminated properly, but today they are now in full darkness. Now, so the Lagos State governor or whoever it is, the commissioner in charge of such should please look into it. Power, the Lagos State government has done well enough in the sense that they've made available street lights, right, which on one side has empowered whoever is going to sell. If you're on a street and the place is properly illuminated, it gives certain level of confidence that at least even if anything is going to happen, people can see you. You are not hidden, right? And nobody is harming you in the dark. you know, there is a power attached to darkness, right? So it gives confidence to the person that is perpetrating the evil act, and then it reduces confidence on the part of the person that is being armed. So when the place is illuminated, to a certain level, you have more confidence to deal at night. But individuals who now run organizations have been inclined towards getting an alternative source of power, you know, relying more on green energy as we speak today. So there are very few organizations that haven't bought into the idea of green energy. Very few. So if you're talking about power, yeah, maybe they don't have enough wattage, enough voltage, enough kVA to power their, for instance, let's take a supermarket, you know, as a specimen for now. And if you have a supermarket, they need to power their refrigerators and all that. So they might have enough power to power the lights and the refrigerators, and then the ACs are shut down. And you know what it looks like? When you get into a place, the refrigerators are emitting. All right? So it's hot in there, and you are shopping in a hot environment. You don't want to stay there for too long. So basically, if you are willing to do 10 things, you just want to do 2 most important things to you, and you take your leave. So basically, power has a way of driving the economy. We need to improve on it. We need to do better.
I want to, you to confirm something for me, because yesterday when I was reading up on this, there's a former commissioner, minister for power in Ghana, who said a 24-hour economy does not necessarily increase the GDP of any nation or any state. Do you think this 24-hour economy is, necessary for any economy? Does it contribute positively
I'm
to the
delighted
growth?
to refer very quickly to a great philosopher who said, if you haven't worked to a level where even while you're sleeping, money enters into your account, you haven't started working. I don't know if you've heard that before.
Please
It says,
say it again.
If you hadn't worked to a point where even while you're sleeping, money flows into your account. People keep paying, you are getting alerts, you're getting credit alerts, even without you knowing, while you're sleeping. He said you've not started working.
Okay.
So if that alone, could counter that point to say that if you have a 24-hour economy, it will definitely add to the bottom line of the economy of a particular state or a country. How? Ask me now. The way forward is straight and open. Okay, so this is it. Some people would adopt working at night because there is no one man that could run as a 4-man. People say 4-man, they do 4 as in F-O-R-E, but of course, in the interpretation, people think it's actually F-O-U-R. Now, so let's say 4-man, you want to work as 4 men, F-O-U-R, it's impossible. When you work at night, you can't work during the day. So, but because there are organizations, there are systems in place, we can have some people work during the day, we can have some other people work at night.
But do all organizations need the night shift people?
Say that again?
I said, but do all organizations need the night shift workers?
No, not at all. Not organization. Not all organizations would need the night people. It depends on what you do. It depends on the sector you find yourself. It depends on the kind of services and products that you're offering. So basically, it is where you belong that will determine whether you have, for instance, individuals in the hospitality sector, they definitely have a need for shifts, day, night. Individuals in the entertainment sector, they definitely have need for day and night. Individuals, even in the media sector, just like you are, they have a need for day and night. Individuals in the emergency, they have need for day and night and all sorts. There are quite a number of other sectors that must do day and night. As a matter of fact, health must do day and night.
They have been doing day and night.
All right, what are some other sectors that we have that are not really tapping into this 24-hour economy?
Okay, so I will take my sector, for instance. As a chartered consultant and, business professional, we run the kind of job that does not require that we work at night.
Exactly.
If I must do anything, I train people during the day. I set processes in place during the day. I help build businesses during the day, right? I have nothing doing out there unless for the situations that I cited earlier, which is when I have a need to be out there to run researches that I want to apply to a class or to a particular, situation or to run a damage control. If, for instance, I'm consulted by a hospitality firm or an entertainment firm, and they are telling me that these are the issues we are currently encountering, right? We need you to solve this issue. So one of the first things I do as a professional consultant is to deploy root cause analysis. In my root cause analysis, I need to know what's the primary cause of the problem that is being encountered by these people. And if I discover that it has to do with something at night, maybe people or the perpetrators of what is happening to them are perpetrating it at night when they feel that the major decision makers are no longer available, right? Then I need to go there, visit them, without sometimes without identifying whom I am to them. You know, so that happens once in a blue moon, right? So there are several other organizations that do not have a need for such. I'll take, for instance, individuals that are selling recharge cards, right? Let's say, let me not call them or tag them as individuals selling, let's say, telecommunications. Yes, they need to work at night in some part of the business because that business is quite wide, right? You have the ones that are providing services to the people, ensuring that there is service and internet, 24 hours. There are people who attend to people via the counter. Those who are attending to you via the counter. Nobody wants to go to MTN office or Globalcom office or any one of those people at midnight to go make an inquiry because they've made an available, other source to you where you could call them, over the phone and they respond to all your needs and they get it sorted. Right. So, you want to say something?
Okay. We have a live transmission coming up. That's the commissioning of Lagos housing complexes in Surulere. That's coming up very, very soon. So we'll need to quickly round up this.
That's fine.
When you mentioned the telecoms industry,
yes.
My mind quickly went to the customer service that they tell you, oh, they are there 24 hours. They're not. Banks, they're not. When you have to recharge your, what's it called? Light. Use your units to get power. Yes, they tell you they are there 24/7. They are not. So why advertise 24/7, service when
to be
it
candid,
is not
some
available?
of them are actually there.
No,
they're not.
Some of them are actually there.
Especially
and I
for
could
the banks.
attest to this. Yes, they work 24/7, not physically, but virtually.
Yes, they answer. They are meant to respond to your needs when you let them know that something happened to me just now.
Okay.
Or let me give you an instance. Oh, my bag was stolen on my way home now this night. I need to block my card. And then you don't get anything until you have to go physically to the bank.
They've also provided codes that could be applied in such situations. When you dial them, your card it doesn't work all the time. I agree. I understand that factor of it doesn't work, right? In that context, it doesn't, not all the time, Yeah, we need to develop a system for ourselves where things that we claim are currently in existence would work as we assume that they should work. And as they claim, I mean, the service providers claim that it does, it should also, deliver value to the end user.
Is that where you come in now to train?
Yes.
In
the problem with Nigerians is that we see training and retraining as a waste of money.
No, it's not.
But it's not. It's the only way forward to achieve global excellence standard. Right? If you shortfall of anything called training, they say there is a slogan that we use. If you don't train them, don't blame them. The response to that is
them.
Yeah, you can't blame them for doing it wrong. Right? If an Igbo guy, for instance, spent several millions of naira, if not $1 billion, to build a particular hotel somewhere within Lekki, right? And then he started running it by himself. Why? Because he had done several other businesses and then he loaded those businesses and he loaded them to success, whether by way of what is expected or not. But the bottom line is he made money from those businesses. And then he assumed that this is going to be the same kind of business. So he delved into hospitality, built about 300 rooms, large, Lekki, and he wasn't getting value. So somebody recommended Tom Flims to him, and then he called me. He said, please, we need you to come and see me at so place. This is what we're encountering. We have a hotel. It's to standard. You can compare to this. You can compare to A. You can compare to B. And I said, okay, so without mentioning the names of other organizations that you're trying to compare yourself to, what do you think is the major issue? He said, that's why I need you to come. We got there, and we said, the first thing I see here are powers claiming ownership of the place aside from yourself. Now, if I bring in you, for instance, as the manager in charge of food and beverage, we call that F&B. Now, there is a younger brother to this man, the owner, the true owner of the hotel, who tells you a story, how that place was built. And it says to you that every time he has his or her friends around, you should serve them whatever they demand without collecting a dime for it. Why? Because he's a brother to the owner of the hotel. And so gradually, by the time we delved into action, we were able to identify the pitfall areas for the organization. And we told him, if you do not take off the hands of your family, friends, brothers from this business, it's not going to grow.
All right, that's a big one there. But now let's look at small business,
especially the informal sector.
Yes, the informal traders and small business owners. How can they also adapt the 24/7 economy? And what are the factors that might not aid them to fully maximize this?
Okay, so I'll start with the factors before telling you how they can actually tap into it. So, because basically in Lagos, there is a cultural tapestry, for every potential small business owner that they could tap into if they understand it. Now, what the government needs to do for them, one, provide them a true market structure. Should I say that again? Provide them a true market structure. Let this place be seen and known as a market. Not 85% of the markets that we have today, they're on the roadsides. You get what I mean? There's no proper structure for marketplace. Now, I would refer to Mushi Market again, the likes of Ojuwoye and the one opposite Ojuwoye Market. I may not be able to mention the names again. Maybe I can recall, right? So basically in the days, they are always on the roadside. They have this lantern, that's what they call it. That lantern is not the regular lantern that has a shield. They call it Atupa. That's the name. The one that blows without control. That's what you see on everybody's. And they were selling with joy, ecstatically. They are enthusiastic about what they do. Why? Because there was no disturbance. There was no disturbance. There was no armed robbery was in existence, but it does not affect them. Those who are within a particular locality know and can identify themselves. So when there is an intruder, they can tell, even at night. Who is that person? He does not look like one of us. Please get rid of that person. So basically what we have now is an intrusion of strangers that you don't know, and nobody's squaring anybody. We appear too volatile. We appear too, what's that word now? We are just too open to danger, and we need to do a lot about that. We need to do a lot about it. You are right in front of this LTV8 gate at midnight. You would see 3-4 people who have no place to rest. They don't have a shelter, and they are just wandering about. And if you have a true business within this place, within this auditorium or within these premises, it takes 2-3 minutes of thoughts to you, asking yourself, should I drive in or not? Because you basically do not know what they have on them. You don't know what their mission is. So what am I trying to say? There are people wandering about everywhere, aimlessly, without jobs, without anything. We need to curb this, create a structured market place for people, illuminate it, let there be security. They can tap into it. These women are willing. I've seen 3 women who do not sell during the day. What they sell in different parts of Lagos, and I'll mention them. One in Ogba. Okay, so they destroyed the place. I wouldn't say they destroyed it. Maybe they chased away. I don't know what. I don't know where to stand. So I'll just say there used to be a place at Allen where you could walk in any day, any time of the day. It was a hub of food. Central hub of food at midnight at Allen, directly opposite Airport Hotel. Only for me to go there. The day I mentioned that a friend of mine came in recently. We wanted to get food for the wife who said she wanted...
You get an invoice on your way out because you have mentioned a lot of...
Well, they are not my business. They are not my business. Well, so basically, there used to be several vendors vending food, rice, jollof, chicken, and all sorts there. Only for me to get there, and there was nobody. I said, what is happening here?
I'm trying to picture that, please.
Oh, they are there 24/7. Everybody knows.
Where the
a whole lot of them. I'm talking about
fries.
Yeah, Oh, you know the place.
I know the place. Are you telling me that that place no longer
It's
exists?
no longer there. I don't know what happened to the place. So the government needs to protect stuff like this because they're like heritage to Lagos. People have identified them, and I am not aware. There might be security risk to it. You know, those who are in charge of that would be able to tell better. But for me, I do not know of any. But if we are able to sanitize that environment and allow it grow, let it be known that in Lagos there is a place you can always walk in at midnight and you get what you want there. Let there be another place known for even phone repairs at midnight. You know, gradually we are creating an economy for nightlife. For phone repairs, you know that when you get to a particular, maybe Sakatinubu or what's this place called? Computer Village. Let there be a place that is known for that. Okay, so you have issues with your shoes and you are traveling the following morning and you think you have the confidence to move out at night. Where can I repair? Keep people, individuals who are working, who are doing leather works. Keep them somewhere. Let us identify with that place and say, if you have a need for that at midnight, go there. For instance, oil and gas. It used to be Maryland, the hub of oil and gas at midnight. Maryland left, Maryland right. There is no time of the day that you get there that you won't find them. But today, they are no longer there. So most of these things we are losing.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very much, Mr. Ogudimu. We've been talking about Lagos 24-hour economy, and thank you very much for all the insights you have shared with us. From you, all you've said, we've heard that, you know, building a true 24-hour Lagos is not just about longer opening hours, but about coordinated investments, which you mentioned just now. And
absolutely.
This coordinated investment he's talked about is empower, is security, transport, and of course the people. Thank you very much, Mr. Aliki.
It is my delight to be here. I'm excited.
We'll go on a short break. When we come back, the conversation continues.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.